3 children. So for more, let's go to Beijing right now. Patrick Fox standing by. Patrick, good to see you. Hopefully you hear me right now. Listen, let's talk about what officials are now saying about this change in policy.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we connected. I think the point is that policymakers are having to make some changes because there's a lot of concern that there are going to be lots of social challenges for China if they don't do that. Data from the once-in-a-decade census, which were released earlier this month, showed some pretty dramatic results for China. There were 12 million babies born last year compared to 18 million in 2016. So that's a pretty dramatic drop, a pretty big drop. And a lot of people are asking questions like, how is China going to manage things like looking after the elderly in the future? But I think a lot of people are also going to be asking a couple of other questions. First of all, is this the best policy that could have been made? Because we know, of course, that China already scrapped its one-child policy in 2016 and allowed people to have 2 kids each, but that hasn't done anything to address the problem. And the other question people may be asking is, why not scrap the birth policy altogether? But perhaps that would suggest that the birth policy shouldn't have existed at all in the first place.
Now, what's been the reaction to this, Patrick, particularly as China is still in recovery mode from the pandemic?
Yeah, well, this is a big deal for China, and a lot of people are talking about it. But a lot of people are saying, look, this doesn't really address the root cause of the problem, which is that, high costs of living in China and the cost of raising children in particular is what's really deterring people from having kids. So there are a lot of people online saying, look, it doesn't matter how many kids we can have. We can barely afford to have 1 or even 2 at the moment. So this doesn't really change anything. Of course, COVID played a part in the low birth rate, perhaps last year as well. And that is another challenge that the country is going to have to deal with. But, another thing that people aren't quite talking about so much is the fact that China's also talking about raising the retirement age in a phased manner. And now, the government has said that it will offer some sort of support to people to have kids, but right now they haven't elaborated, haven't provided any further details on that.
Okay, Patrick, thank you for that. Appreciate it. That is Patrick Fox in Beijing. Well, to Israel now, where Benjamin Netanyahu is on the brink of being